G'day guys, welcome back. This is going to be part 5 on the Owen multimeter series. I've done a couple more things to the boost converter. I've desoldered the screw terminals on the input and output and just added it to my parts collection because I don't need the screw terminals in here. And I also removed the heatsink because with the little load that's running on it, it's running completely cold. It doesn't even need a heatsink, so I've added that to my parts collection. So I've literally just left everything on that board that is required for boost. So I'm going to start tinning wires up and working out where stuff fits. And since I'm doing that, I figured I'd better start recording. So here we go. I've already mounted the boost converter there. That's mounted to the back of the screen. I was thinking about where to put it because I don't want the noise radiating out of it. I'm talking about radiated noise, of course. I don't want noise radiating out of it and getting into, you know, the ADC, the processor, the main board there. Right, so actually I don't know why I just tinned those wires because they're probably going to want to be shorter. I was thinking they're going there. They're not going there. That goes to the input of my linear regulator. Now my linear regulator, like I was saying in the last video, I'm thinking is sitting like this. So sorry about my head for a second. Okay, that was a dumbass move. I'll cut those wires and re-tin them again to the actual length they need to be. Okay. Positive is going to go on the positive output. Negative is going to go on the negative output. Just try and work out the easiest way for me to do this. Probably like that. So we'll just reflow that wire on there. Beautiful. Nice and shiny, how we want it. I'll just be able to get that. I'm used to getting into tricky places with soldering irons. I'm also used to burning myself in the process, but I still get the job done. Yeah, I'm not too happy with that solder joint. I'm just gonna try and get that wire down to the board better. Okay, so that's my 5-volt regulator that powers the meter. That's going to sit down in here. I'll just move some of this stuff out the way so that I can move everything forward so my head's not in the way. That should be enough. There we go. Sorry guys. And then I'll move this back too. Now I can have my head. Yeah, you barely see my head. Cool. Okay, so I'm thinking this is going to go in here. The thing that's actually stopping it from going down far enough is that, what do you call it? The screw mount from the old power supply. So I'll just make that a little bit shorter. About that. That's perfect. So that's exactly where I want that to sit, like that. Haven't worked out how I'm going to attach it yet. I mean, it's my own personal meter, so I can really do anything I want. I don't have a hot glue gun at the moment, a hot glue, but I'm just saying as an example. Actually, you know what? I actually do have some good glues. I know what I'm going to do. I've got contact cement, I've got epoxy. Yeah, I'll just glue it in there. It's my own personal meter, you know. Same with this. I've got really strong double-sided tape, and when I say really strong, I've been using this stuff for years. I've even had it on things like on the bottom of a power transformer that was sitting on a case and vibrating, and I didn't want the power transformer screwed to the case. Long story, but anyway. And it was hot and it held up. Anyways, I digress. I know it held up because when I went to pull the transformer out and unscrewed it and unwired it and everything, it was still stuck, and it was very hard to get it off. So I've used some really good double-sided tape to hold that down. Don't worry, it's not going to come off. For this, I don't know, I think I'll just glue that down in there. Now, our charger, I'm not worried about harvesting the port off that because it's a port I don't really use. And you can just solder your inputs either side of it, just there. I'll just do that quickly. Hey, no fighting! My cats are fighting. I'll just tin those pads up ready. To take some wires, because what I'm going to do temporarily is just run a wire out the back, and that'll go so I can charge it. And then when I go to Jaycar and pick up a USB-C breakout board, I'll mount the USB-C breakout board somewhere in here so that I can just plug a USB cable in the back of it. But yeah, all right. I've still got to work out where I'm going to fit the battery. You know what? I might have screwed up putting that down because I don't want to bust the screen taking it off. Oh, I suppose I could use the heat gun and heat it up a bit and it'll come off. I'm a dumbass. I meant to put the battery in first. You know what? That's alright because this battery is only a temporary solution. As I said, I want to put a different battery in here. So that's alright because I'm going to get a different form factor battery to this. This is only temporary. With the tabs not bent out like that, let me just form the battery up how I'm going to actually have it. Oh, actually, that's something else I've got to look into. Do I need to solder a protection circuit onto this? Or does the TP4056 do all that? I know that's to charge the battery, but yeah, I do. I need a protection circuit on the battery for under voltage lockout and all that. That's okay because I've got a couple lying around. got a couple single cell modules. Actually, this is the one that came off the battery, so good thing I kept it. So what I'll do is I'll actually put this back on this battery. We'll take these little wires off and I'll put this back on the battery where I want it. You gotta be careful bending these little tabs around, especially if someone's bent them before. You don't want to create creases on them where they will snap, because you can't solder to the nickel bit. You can only solder to the little tabs that are spot welded onto the end. So then I'll have to bodgy up a discard spot welder just to get it on. And yeah, I really can't be bothered doing that. It's B plus, and this is B negative. Hope you guys can see this. Oh yeah, just. So that's that. Yeah. So that's our little protection module. I was just having a look underneath, making sure there's nothing that can short. You know, I'm just going to get a little piece of Captain tape to put underneath that, just in case the battery's surface there is conductive, that shiny stuff. Get some thicker Captain tape. I've got 3 different sizes of Captain tape. Looks like I've got the same tape, literally the exact same tape that the battery manufacturer's got. Wouldn't be surprised if it came out the same factory. This is just polyamide tape, it's not genuine Captain brand tape. This is just a polyamide tape they sell at J-Car, so obviously it just comes out of some Chinese factory somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the exact same tape this battery's already got all over it. It looks exactly the same. I mean, there is no difference there in colour. And no, I didn't put that there. Alright, so that's our battery. Good thing I realised that I haven't built up a lithium battery circuit for a while, so I wasn't thinking about that. I think what I might do is I might put this on the actual battery with another bit of this double-sided tape. It comes on a roll and it comes in these little squares, so I might use one of these squares. And chuck that there for now. Well, that lines up perfectly with positive and negative, that's good. Just get it on there nice and tight. Alright, so I'm just going to make a couple little bridges there to connect the battery up. Might as well use this little bit of wire I've got sitting here. It's small, it works well. It's just the right size, you know, like it's really small but not too small. Current wise, it's actually got pretty thick wire in there for the size of the insulation. Plus when it's this short, it's not like there's going to be any resistance in it anyway. Okay. For those that are wondering, you've probably seen it around my workbench in other videos, but yeah, I have a wet sponge and I've got the brass wool. I like both to clean the soldering tip, just, you know, it just depends on the circumstance. And I also always have a bit of tip thinner on the side too. That actually is handy for my soldering iron and my desoldering gun. Especially for the desoldering gun. You just keep that in the tip thinner every so often, and it keeps the tip really nice and clean. And then when you go to desolder something, it you know, the nozzle on the desoldering gun, it really effectively how do you explain it? You know, like it melts the solder straight away. You're not sitting there trying to press it into it through the layer of oxidation that's on the tip. It makes it nice and shiny and it melts straight away. So that's our charging module and battery. I think that'll fit down in there perfectly. Let's just see. I just got to be careful with this LED wire because it only can fit into the corner behind that post there. I did eye it all up to make sure that it would be alright before I went and put the LED in the corner there. It's just a tight spot, that's all. But it's doable, certainly. Okay, so the battery can't go there because it hits the board. What about in the back there? Okay, so obviously this case is used for multiple products because, as you can see, there's standoffs all around the place that don't connect to absolute, like, anything that's in this product. So we'll take them out, clear it out, and make some extra space back here for the battery. It'd be so funny if this meter randomly breaks like in a month or some shit, and I just sent it back to Owen and tried to get warranty on it. I'd love to hear what they have to say once they take it apart and had a look inside it. It'd be so funny. I'd never do something like that. I just think it's funny. Oh, could you imagine? You know what the funny thing is? My circuit's going to provide a more stable and clean voltage than their shitty flyback converter, because the flyback converter was noisy as, and it only had a feedback winding for its sensing. So, like, you know, when you put a bit of load on it, the voltage is going to sag quite a bit, and it was really noisy. 7805 doesn't even droop that much in voltage, and my circuit's got like no noise. So in reality, it's kind of unfair. They should, you know, like, the warranty should still exist, but I understand where they're coming from, because, you know, there's plenty of people out there that want to play around with stuff and they'll break it. So yeah, if someone's been playing with it, you can't really warranty it. Yeah, that fits perfectly in there. I think what I'll do is let's see, that's going to sit there. I'm just thinking about what's going to happen should that tape somehow fail and that came off, what's it going to short on? Not really anything. Okay, the battery's the only thing that's going to really be in the way. Like, I don't want that falling into the board and touching the board. So I might honestly just put a couple of holes in the case and run a cable tie over the battery. Do it up on the inside, so from the back you just see a loop, you don't see the bit where you do it up, you know. I think I might do that. Now the other thing I had to do is the LED for the charged indicator. So not, I'll just get some power over here and I'll show you guys. You have to be patient for my supply to start up because I've plugged these cables into the power supply I'm building, and due to the high stability of it, it has a startup time, and I've designed it to not even come on until it is stable, basically speaking. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for that. You'll hear a click in a minute and it will come on. Actually, I don't need these. As soon as the panel meter on the front of it reads 250 millivolts, it'll click on. It's actually 212, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We're getting there. Alright, that's on. Turn the voltage up to 5 volts. Okay, we're on 5 volts. So when it's charging, you get there was crap. I was on the solder. I was like, what the hell? I touched it to it. I know everything's wired up the right way. And it just flashed for a sec. I was like, what you know, did that just break? No, it didn't. So that's the charging LED on the left. All right. So when it's charged, does that LED go out? And the other one goes on, or... You know what? I'm going to have to turn my computer on. I'll pause the video. I'll get the data sheet for the TP4056 and I'll work this out quickly. Just give me a sec. You know what? The data sheet's not on my computer and I can't be bothered downloading it. I just want to get this done. I'd imagine that LED that came on would go out and the other one would go on when it's charged. I can't imagine that staying on and then the other one comes on. So I'm just going to go with that theory. And I'm just going to take that LED off and put my ribbon cable there. So I'll have an LED on the front that's lit up when it's charging and should go out when it's not charging. So if the LED is off, it's fully charged. If the LED is on, it's charging, you know. Yes, I know this is hooked up to the battery. I'm not blind. No, I wouldn't be doing this next to the charge chip or whatever you want to call it. But there's nothing I can slip and short on right here, so... See? Another micro LED. Alright. Now, I don't know the polarity either, so let's just work that out as we go. I mean, there's no worry there. I'll leave about... I'll cut this about here just so that no matter what battery I end up putting in there, I've got enough of this ribbon to solder onto the charging module wherever it ends up sitting. That's why I chose the ribbon cable, because it needs to be really, really small. Alright, so we're literally just going to solder this on one direction, just randomly, give it power and see if the LED on the front lights up or not. It's only an LED, so obviously nothing's going to go wrong if it's the wrong way. No. So that's the wrong way. Okay. Just a little bit more solder. Actually. Got to keep the wire very small because it's a very small pad. Very small, but I got it. Okay, so that should light up blue now when it's charging. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so we got our charging indicator. So that's going to sit down in there. Now our battery's going to go. Well, here's the thing. I also want a physical power switch on here. I don't want this just sitting in standby all the time. So in between the battery, sorry, the battery goes to the boost converter. What am I saying? In between the battery and the boost converter, I want to put a switch. Let me think about that before I forgot about that. Where can I put a switch? It's not like there's a lot of space on this meter. Oh, I didn't see that. I was wondering why. Case wouldn't go on because like there's so much space in here for all this. So okay, I think there might be some space somewhere around here. I might be able to get away with putting a rocker switch on top of it. Let me just have a quick look. I'm thinking a rocker switch. I don't want to use a toggle switch. It just doesn't seem appropriate. Yeah, there is space there. Okay, well, maybe I'll do it on the side. Just so if this ever ends up in a shelf or something where you can't get to the top of it because it's got stuff stacked around it, whether it's equipment or shelving, I think. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut that into the side. Now, where would that be? Actually, yeah, yes, that's where I would want it. I would want it there. Or my personal preference. Okay, so I'm just going to mark up where I've got to cut my lines. Don't worry guys, I know this looks dodgy, but I've been doing stuff like this for long enough, you get used to it. It almost goes to the front of the case, but not quite. It's actually a really good fit. That's what she said, I know. Right. Okay, well I drew that just a bit too short. So, sorry if this is boring you all. That'll do the trick. Okay, I'm gonna go and cut that. Pause the video and I'll be back. Alright guys, I've cut the switch in. That's where it's going to sit. I know I went down a little bit too low. There's a little gap in front of it. I could slide it down a little. Oh no, I can't. It's just going to stay like that. Anyway, that's the switch in the side. So we want to put a cable from the input of our linear regulator to the output of that. I'm just thinking how long I want to make the cable, because I want to be able to take the unit apart still if I need to service it. I think what I'll do is I'll use some twisted wire. I'll twist a couple of wires together just to try and stop any noise radiating off the wires from that switcher, and I'll just run wires from there to there. That should be enough. Actually, when I twist them up, I'm just going to twist them first. I've still got the wire on my lap here, because twisting them up will probably make the effective length shorter, and then I'll have to start again. we got? Okay, that works well. Alright, we've got our twisted pair wire, that'll do. I'm going to go any crazier than that and go get a shielded cable or something like that. This will do. That switch is not that noisy anyway. I mean, there is noise, but there's not that much current behind it. Also, the load on my regulator is pretty small too, so it's very easy to get rid of the little bit of noise there is. Certainly not a problem. As you guys have seen, it's 300 microvolts RMS and 2 millivolts peak to peak, and it used to be, I can't remember, was it 1.5 something or 2.5 something millivolts RMS and 56 millivolts peak to peak. It was terrible. Well, by my standards anyway. I know everyone's standards in these departments vary, but I don't like any of my test and measurement equipment to have noisy switching power supplies in it. And yes, I realise there are upstream regulators and other supplies and stuff, obviously. But still, I don't agree with it. I do understand everything's built to a cost these days. So this is the output of the boost converter. That wire I really didn't want to solder on there for a sec. Wasn't happy. Still not happy. Alright, that'll do. The insulation's just a little bit hot and soft, so I just shape it like that before it goes hard again. Alright, on this end, same deal. These two wires have got to go there and there respectively. Okay. I should be able to get this. Ah. My phone's camera, sorry, I don't know if you heard what I was saying, my phone's camera just quit on me then because my phone storage was full. I'll splice the video together so you won't see it. You'll just see a bit of a glitch there where I was soldering this. Anyhow, let's get back to business. There's one lone strand of wire that I knocked out. Just pushed it back down. Okay, all nice and shiny. That's our linear regulator wired up. I'm going to get that in there whilst those wires are nice and bendy still, because it's going to get, rammed up against the case like that. Tell you what, this is really, really, really starting to come together nicely. I'm really impressed. I mean, how can you complain? All that's left to do now is take some power from that point there and that point that's underneath this ribbon cable that I've soldered down here, which I'm going to have to put a loop in so that we can get underneath it without putting stress on those solder joints, because what I soldered it to is very, very small. I mean, if it breaks, I can fix it. It's alright. I know I can get the pin out for the IC in 2 seconds. That works. That fits well there. Cool. So now we just got to run power from these 2 points at the battery via the switch to the input of that, and well, still got to get a USB-C breakout board and mount that somewhere so I can plug a USB-C connector in the back of it and mount this a bit securely. I'm just going to put some tape in there for now. Like I said, I'm getting a bigger battery, so it'll be coming out. When I get the bigger battery, I'll do a video on it so you can all see. It's only going to be a quick video. I'm literally just going to take the battery out, put a bigger one in there and resolder the module on it. But yeah, so let's keep going for now. Why? This stuff will do. Alright. Actually, I don't know I'm going to need the wire that long, so I'll deal with the other end of it when I get to it. Okay, I'm just working out how I'm going to get the wires on. Something you guys will come to realise watching me solder is I can do some tricky bloody stuff that most people wouldn't even attempt in tight spaces and everything like that. I've been doing this for a long time, building stuff. It's literally my hobby. It's been my hobby since I was a little kid. When I say a little kid, I mean little. Like, I was interested in computers and all that sort of stuff when I was in kindergarten. When I was in kindergarten, the older kids in year 6 and year 5 and that would come and do dumb stuff like turn off the, disable the drivers to the sound card and stuff like that. And I'd go and reinstall them at the age of 6. So I've always been just, I don't know, interested in technology, mechanical stuff, audio stuff. My main passion is electronics, as you can probably tell. But yeah. I'm just going to pause the video and go get a cup of tea or something to drink, and I'll be back in a minute. You guys won't notice anything. Alright, I'm back. Soldering iron's gone to sleep. What do you know? Soldering iron always goes to sleep. Should have put those wires under them wires. Oh well. It'll be alright. It all fits in there. It's all good. But now I'm looking at it, I wish I soldered these wires through that loop on the other side of it, but it's all good. I can live with it. Alright, so my negative wire then go down there. Would help if I strip it and tin it. I'm very much happy with that. And now for the positive return from the switch, just to be cool, let's do it in blue. For no reason other than I just felt like doing it. There's something that cuts. That cuts. All right. That is that. Switch is on, I want the switch off. Okay. Oh, the fit on that is just, come on. Let's test it out, eh? Oh, I had to hit the power button on the meter first. I was so worried for a second. I was like, please don't tell me I soldered it back to front. Oh my God. Hey, hey, not too shabby. The heatsink's right there and everything fits in there quite nice and snug. And it's, I haven't even glued the battery in place and all that. And it's not moving around where it can touch stuff. It's already quite nice. I'm really happy with this. And we've got a hard off switch on the side. You just can't beat that. Charging indicator. There you go. So I want to put some glue on this to hold it in place. Oh, I see the batteries are stuck in. Well, yeah, well, that's what I was going to do anyways, just sneak a bit of double-sided tape in there. Question is, how do I get it out? Oh, actually, this ribbon cable we can bring back over now. Over to there. Okay. I can get a piece of tape under that, that's fine. Oh, and that can't, actually, you know what? That cannot literally hit any of the circuitry. It's physically impossible because of all that cabling that's smooshed up in front of it. I don't even need to worry about that. That can literally just sit there. When I get a different battery that I'm going to keep in there, I'll probably put some tape on it or something to mount it, but I'll just get some glue for that. Oh, I just threw that little connector in the bin. I was trying to throw it in my tub of wires. Alright, contact cement. Yeah. But I can't remember what I used this stuff on, but it worked really well. So I think what I'll do is those couple of little grooves that I cut, I'll get a dribble down in them. And then the same for this back piece that the board sort of goes up against. Tell you what, this is messy stuff. Wait. But that works. Now I don't know how long that takes to dry. When the cover's on, I don't know if it's going to hold it in place or push it out of place. So let's see. It holds it in place. Yeah. And if I leave it sitting that way down, that glue's going to dry literally where I want it. Can't go wrong there. Alright. Well, I think what I'll do, if I can find the lid to the contact cement first, that would be wonderful. Whoops, I just moved that board. I knew that was going to happen. I think I might just get one of these screws in the case, just in the top, just for a sec. I think I put my screwdriver a while back. Yes, I did. I'll just get one of these screws in the top to hold the case together, just roughly, and then grab this heat sink from the back and pull this board back. It doesn't really want to sit there, right? Let me just get my torch in there. It's not exactly where I want it. Okay. Oh, there's lift. How does that work? Okay, whatever. Sorry, I'm muttering to myself. I'm just thinking out loud. How am I going to do this? I think I might just have to put a clamp on this. On these little things I'm referring to. I think that's what I'll do. Just Yeah. That's how I want it. So I'll just, can you guys see that? Yeah, cool. All right. Everything else I'm happy with. This cable can just get tucked in there, yeah. All right, so tomorrow I'll try and get off to J-car. I've got to get some more ammonium persulfate for my etching anyway. So tomorrow I will go get a tub of that if it's any good, because I don't know, I think their stock's going bad. I'll go get a tub of that and the USB-C header for this. I'm not going to bother soldering some wires and running them out the back to charge it for now. The battery's pretty fully charged already, and I'm pretty sure it's going to make it till tomorrow. So I'll just leave that as it is for now. So that's a success. I mean, it was not going to not be a success. I just I didn't know how long it was going to take to get it done, if I had everything on hand that I needed and whatnot. So alright, well, I'll leave it there because I'm packing up now. You guys aren't going to want to watch that, but we'll be back tomorrow. The glue will have dried. Oh, and a different battery. That's right. I want to get a different battery if I can find one at J-car. We'll be back tomorrow to sort out the battery. I'm getting tired. Off to bed now. The USB-C port, and if I can find a bigger LiPo pack that's basically in the same form factor but sort of chunkier, if that makes sense. So not bigger in this dimension but this way, or even just more of them in that size that I can just stack up in parallel. That's what I want to do for the battery. Otherwise I'm just going to put a couple of 18650s in there. I've got plenty of them, like decent size ones too. I mean, I could make this thing run for quite some time off 18650s. So yeah, that'll be the last bit of this. That'll be the final part, and this will be back over on top of the scope. Alright, see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.